Hey everybody, taking some time for a little hike in between lessons. This trail's pretty cool. This time of year, lots of pine needles everywhere. So having a good time. Been practicing some music today and doing some lessons. Got a bunch more coming up and finishing up the stuff for my Intro to Swing Chords course. So pretty excited about that. Planning that for November, more info coming soon. And interesting thing that's been on my mind is unsolicited advice from other players. I'm curious, I'm going to do a video on this soon, but I'm curious, what have been your experiences with it? This has been in my mind a few times due to me playing pickleball. You know, I've been at music for a very long time and I don't get much in the way of unsolicited advice. If I do, it's probably coming from a legendary player and I'll take all they've got. Of course, players like that usually aren't giving unsolicited advice. Check this out. This is really cool. There's a lake down there too. So they're not usually giving unsolicited advice because they've been there, they've been through it all. But the lower the level you are, the more you're going to get that. And I used to get it a lot in music, but that was before I reached a professional level. And people ask me about it all the time. What should I do when this happens in jams and stuff? And up until the last year or so, I really had no idea because I hadn't been dealing with it myself in such a long time. So I've got a couple ideas in mind for what you could try, but I want to hear about your experiences. If you share your experience, I won't give out your information in the video or anything. I may quote you, but it won't be attached to your name. I'll remove anything that seems like it could identify you or the person giving you the advice, that kind of thing. Check it out. It's really cool. It just goes all the way down to this little pond and then all around. It's really neat. So a couple things that I have tried. One of them just never seems to go well is when you tell somebody like, well, I've got 3 teachers already. I don't need your input because it just pisses them off. And music is such a cooperative thing. Even in pickleball, it's cooperative with my partner. My partner and me, we're on the same team, even though we're trying to beat somebody else. And so it doesn't help to be in conflict, even if they seem to be a know-it-all who finds the net every time they're trying to hit the ball over the net. Something I have tried is just kind of ganging up with them on the advice. So if they're saying, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing that, as long as they're correct, smile and nod and be like, yeah, that's a great idea. And hey, how about you do this, you do that. Sometimes that turns it into a collaborative thing. And I think that's really helpful. Other times just saying nothing helps a lot. And, you know, sometimes we formulate this narrative that the person who's being the know-it-all, who usually doesn't have enough skills to back up what they're doing, what they're telling you. A lot of times they don't even know how to do it themselves, but sometimes they do know how to do it. They might actually be somewhat qualified to tell you what to do, but we tend to think of them as just being kind of an asshole. You know, this person's just a jerk, but often they're not. I had a situation recently, and hopefully whoever it is has not found me on my socials. This does apply to a couple of situations I've had recently, but one in particular, a player is telling all 3 other players on the court what they're supposed to be doing. And this was my partner telling me and the 2 people from the other team what they're supposed to be doing. So my partner just won't let up. And funny, this happens a lot. They start to give a lot of advice and then they kind of fall apart. We lost the game. It was pretty close, but lost the game because the know-it-alls will start to get in their own head and mess up a lot and fall apart. So I'm kind of feeling like this person's just a jerk. Like, we don't know each other. The first criticism was an illegitimate criticism and feeling like they're a jerk. So I decided not to say anything. I don't want to rock the boat. That's where I go to have fun. Just like a jam session, even though the games are somewhat adversarial and who's going to win, you know, trying to win, it's still a lot like a jam session community. So I decided not to say anything, and I'm just thinking this person's just a jerk, and maybe they have some issues where they just need to be heard. You know, maybe they need people to know that they know stuff because, you know, maybe they're kids and spouse don't ever listen to a thing they have to say or something like that. So good thing I know this trail, because I've been wandering. I like this direction. So sometimes I remind myself maybe they just need to be heard and they need someone to listen, and they can feel more like they have a purpose in this world. I see this happen quite a lot in music with people who are retired, so they're not doing their job anymore. Maybe they used to be a consultant or something, and their kids are grown and their grandkids are all off doing baseball and stuff, and there's nobody asking their advice anymore, and they just want to be relevant and helpful. Sometimes they may have something to share. So decided this person's probably, spider web. Still pretty neat. That's where I just came from. So I decided this person probably fits in that category. And even though I thought they're still kind of a jerk, I didn't say anything. So they come by to talk to me later, just say hi while we're all getting ready to leave. And it turned out this person was delightful. Really, really nice person. And probably realized they had misread the situation, because by the end of the game we had played, I was clearly the one playing better. And so they kind of backed off their way of approaching it, and turned out to be really nice. And so I wouldn't mind seeing that person again to play. I wouldn't mind if they keep up that much advice, but I have a feeling that will change. Maybe it won't, but I can just nod and smile and ignore it and go back to following what my coach says, because my coach is really good and I know that she's right. And I'm going to do that no matter what anybody else tells me, for the most part. There are some strategies I want to talk about when it comes to trying different things. But anyway, that's my little story. This is the hike I'm on. I'm almost to the pond, so I'll show you that. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'm really interested to know about your experiences, how you may have dealt with it. And then when I make that video, I'll be more prepared with some different ideas and strategies that aren't only based on my personality and the situations I've been in. Because while something may have worked for me, or my circumstance may be a certain way, it may not be that way. It surely isn't that way for everybody else. You know, I'm like a tall man with a beard. You know, there's certain people that aren't going to be know-it-alls to me, or they're going to approach it differently than they might somebody who presents differently. They're smaller or something like that. Maybe less stupidly confident than I have a tendency to be in things I'm new at. So anyway, let me know your thoughts. I want to make a video that'll really help everybody. So here we go. We've made it. I don't know what this pond is called, but here it is. I sure wouldn't mind going out on this pond. Maybe someday I'll go out on a kayak or something. Paddle boat, something like that. Very cool. All right, everybody, let me know your thoughts. I'm really interested to hear it. If you're new to this channel, make sure to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out a lot. There's more stuff in the description about how you can help the channel as well if you want to support it. And if you want to learn better, faster, you need some help on your mandolin or your fiddle, schedule a lesson with me, link down below. Schedule a 15-minute meet and greet for free if you want to, and we can just chat about what's going to be best for you and see how I can best help you. All right, everybody, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.